Good morning. The youth minister called for sanctions on the Israeli government yesterday after the Israeli army seized control of the Palestinian side of the Rafah border crossing with Egypt. Siri Rego, the minister of Palestinian descent, slammed the Israeli invasion and bombing of Rafah in a social media post, accusing Tel Aviv of blocking people from leaving and humanitarian aid from entering all of Gaza. Spain should impose sanctions on Netanyahu's government, which is committing genocide against the Palestinian people, she wrote. Rego echoed the Belgian Prime Minister's calls for sanctions on Israel, something the wider Spanish government has not yet backed. On Monday, Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez warned that an offensive on Rafah would only increase the suffering of the Palestinian people, and said the international community cannot stand passively by in the face of this tragedy. He spoke with the Irish and Qatari leaders about the situation, vowing to recognise an independent Palestinian state shortly. Meanwhile, campus protests by pro-Palestinian activists spread across Europe yesterday, as some called for a break in academic ties with Israel over the war in Gaza. German police broke up a protest by several hundred pro-Palestinian activists who had occupied a courtyard at Berlin's Free University. Elsewhere, some student camps have been allowed to stay in places like the lawns of the Cambridge University in the UK. In recent days, students have held protests or set up encampments, also in Finland, Denmark, Italy and France. Here, dozens of students have spent over a week at a pro-Palestinian encampment on the University of Valencia campus. Similar camps were set up on Monday at the University of Barcelona and the Basque Country. A group representing students at Madrid's public universities announced it would step up protests in the coming days. Microsoft was hit with a Spanish startup group's complaint about its cloud practices to the antitrust regulator yesterday, the latest grievance over its fast-growing cloud computing services, which followed a trade group's EU complaint. The Spanish Startup Association, which represents more than 700 groups, cited a number of allegedly anti-competitive practices by Microsoft in recent years. The association called on the competition watchdog to launch an investigation and to take urgent measures to ensure a competitive market. And the Andalusia regional government has given the green light to the filling of swimming pools this summer in the province of Malaga, although it will be up to the local councils to take the final decision. They will not put any restrictions in place and will allow the available water to be used for this purpose. This was announced by spokesperson and Deputy Minister for Water Ramon Fernandez Pacheco, who said that this decision had been reached taking into account the special characteristics of the Malaga province and the impact of tourist activity on its economy. That's the latest from TRE. I'm Bob James.